Thanks, Goose. Monster Hunter 4, the game that ate Japan.
That is pretty close to the truth. Every new installment in this series of dragon-slaying slugfest sells around 5 million copies in its home market. It's a game that brings people together.
Monster Hunter has gained a small but passionate following in the West, a bit like Dark Souls. And much like my beloved Dark Souls, it's also a game of skill, where you can only progress by getting better. Every challenge seems impossible at first, which makes each breakthrough so much more rewarding. There's also a lot of dodge rolling and stamina bar management, which I love.
Monster Hunter 4 contains many firsts for this series, starting with the story. There's a lot more of it for starters, and instead of being assigned to protect one village, your hunter joins a nomadic caravan. Your leader, a fellow in a splendid cowboy hat, is searching the world for a secret behind a glistening MacGuffin known only as the Article.
The realms you explore are scattered with caverns, fields, and ruins, critters both dangerous and docile, and all manner of collectible craftables. But this customization is only there to prepare you for the core of the game, boss fights. There are more boss monsters than in any previous game in the series. Some old favourites return, and the newcomers are off the wall. Giant spiders, giant monkeys, giant snakes.
Before you go out on a hunt, you'll need to equip one of 14 classes of weapons, and their movesets are as varied as a roster of fighting game characters.
All the old weapon classes return, along with two new ones, the Insect Glaive and the Charge Blaine. They're quite refreshing to use, and they'll force series veterans to think differently about how they play.
In a way, Monster Hunter has always been about defeating enemies and using their own powers against them. For instance, if you slay a water element monster, you can craft weapons that deal water element damage. But now they weaved it into the combat too. Take the Insect Glaive. It's a spear paired with a little insect pal, a kinsect. You can shoot out your kinsect to drain a monster's life essence.
Yes, and different body parts yield different buffs, so hitting the head, for example, gives you a boost to damage, but the buffs wear off quickly, so there's real incentive to be aggressive. I did like how the buffs can make you immune to the toxic attacks of certain monsters, like the spit from the Catch-a-Watcher.
I also like how the Glaive lets you pole vault anywhere. This lets you employ the new mounting ability, where you can damage a monster's sensitive areas while riding it like a mechanical bull.
Fun in theory, but in practice quite tricky. It's a blast when you can pull it off though, and it really plays into the game's new verticality.
Yeah.
The other new weapon is aimed at more technical players. The Charge Blade can transform. You build up power landing hits in a sword and shield mode, then you can morph into axe mode to discharge that pent-up energy in sweeping, punishing blows.
The classic structured quests are now joined by a new expedition mode. Expeditions take you to the winding, randomized ruins of the Everwood.
The Everwood.
This is a variation on the free hunt mode from the previous two games. Monsters will randomly appear in the Everwood, but you have no obligation to fight them. You can just stroll around and collect mats and just generally chill out. Oh, and watch your AI co-op buddy get into fights with other cats. Merlin, behave.
Oh, and you can rescue piggies in distress.
And if you really want to chill out, you can go to the opera. Just take a seat and listen to the diva sing. The design work is just gorgeous, and the use of colour is really striking. And this definitely helps with the glare you have to deal with on a portable system.
Yeah, Monster Hunter really feels at home on the 3DS now, and they fixed that rubbish font from the last game. Also, there's proper online play, and the Street Pass features are great. It plays fine on older 3DS systems too, though the analog knob on the new model is better for camera control.
This is, I think, the most accessible Monster Hunter game to date. The difficulty ramps up gently, and yet the end game is really tough. No matter how good you are, you're going to find something to challenge you.
Above all, this is about the boss fights, and the monsters just have so much personality. Learning their moves, honing your skills, optimizing your gear. From the meta to the micro, it's easy to get obsessed.
Yeah, this isn't the kind of game you can just play on a weekend. It's a proper hobby that requires dedication and patience, and that isn't for everyone. But I do think it's the best Monster Hunter game to date, so I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Hex, I've really come around on this series. They've just fixed so many things in the previous games that have always been a bit of a barrier to me. I'm giving this 4.5.
Oh. Well, questions await us at the Ask Good Game desk, Barjo.
Let's go, Hex.
Okay. Can I just sleep the normal way?